Welcome to the Unesh value train. As far as our opening hand goes, we have two lands in the hand. We have Monolith. Is that something? With the land drop, it's actually pretty good. I like that. Yeah, we're going to keep on this one. Why not? That Factor Fiction is going to allow us to dig a little bit deeper. Hopefully we don't get combat damaged out by Omnath. That's what we're... Hopefully that doesn't happen, but we just need to hit that last land drop. Oh, Thought Vessel. That'll work. I'll take that in a heartbeat. Let's go ahead and get out Lonely Sandbar, and then anything else. We're going to go ahead and pass the turn to our opponent. But yes, welcome to the Unesh value train, where if you did not read the pre-flight pamphlet, you're encouraged to follow your dreams. And then we have Unesh as the conductor. So we're playing Unesh, Criosphinx Sovereign, flying. Sphinx spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. Then whenever Unesh or another Sphinx enters the battlefield under your control, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Opponent's going to separate those in 2 piles and put 1 pile into your hand, the other pile into your graveyard. Let's go and get down Island. Let's go and go. Let's keep this mana up. Let's go and go for Thought Vessel. See if we can't outrace Omnath. I think that sounds like a plan. Get down Thought Vessel and we'll kick it back over there to the green monster himself. We are playing against Omnath, Locus of Mana. You do not lose unspent green mana as steps and phases in. Then Omnath, Locus of Mana gets +1/+1 for each unspent green mana that you have. And then, actually, I think that's everything. We covered both commanders' free time. Well, actually, kind of free time. So, if you've ridden on the space train before, the value train into outer space, you may have noticed the ride was a little bumpy. We've recently upgraded the transmission, the engine. We've had some really good... Oh, nice! Hope it's a good one. But yeah, our opponent said they're subscribed, so that's always fun to get to play against people like this. But yeah, so we've had some really nice upgrades to the Unesh value train, overhauled the transmission, have a little bit more horsepower in the engine itself, and I'll kind of cover what some of that stuff was here in just a second. Opponent does get down to a really quick Wormcoil engine, so that will definitely be interesting. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, let's go and go for Monolith. I think I like that. It's going to put us online for a pretty quick Unesh. And that'll give us something to kind of deal with that Wormcoil engine. Now, if we want to, we can go for Factor Fiction off this Monolith. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but that'll cut us off for Unesh. So at this point right now, let's just go ahead and pass the turn to our opponent. But yeah, as far as the transmission and the engine, so we added stuff like Mana Vault, Soul Ring, Mana Crypt. Feels really good to be playing that with Unesh. Makes for some really fun trips into outer space. I've also added some really nice blue stuff. So we have stuff like Brainstorm, Ponder, which some of that stuff should have never been on the ban list, but anyway, we've arrived here. We get to play with these cards now. And also added Dig Through Time, which is one of my favorite blue cards to kind of cantrip with. So really enjoy that. Let's go and go for Unesh. Yeah, I think I like that. So we're at least going to be able to get the island down, and that will put us online for Counterspell to kind of stop something from our opponent. So let's go and get Unesh down on the battlefield. Get that Factor Fiction going for 4. See, our opponent wants to split this one up. Typically, when we're flying into outer space on the value train, we want to always have a destination that allows it to get another Sphinx onto the battlefield. So, probably end up taking pile 2. Well, we do have at least one more Sphinx down here with Glyph Keeper. And that will make sure we make the rest of our land drops and give us some protection for Unesh. You know, let's go and choose pile 1. Actually, I like that. I like Lightning Greaves. We're not going to get down Lightning Greaves just yet, so we're just going to go ahead and leave up Counterspell. Playing against Mono Green, you know, if we're playing against Grixis or Mardu or something like that, I'd be tempted to leave that up, but, and then anything else, yeah, we're going to kick it to our opponent. Luckily, we do have Thought Vessel down, no max hand size, so that's going to allow us to kind of make sure that we keep that speed momentum going here on the value train. Okay, opponent will be swinging in for 6. Now, they can swing in with Omnath and dump that mana into their mana pool. We're looking at an extra 7, so that's going to be about 13 coming across. We can take that hit at this point right now. Don't really want to, yeah, I'm about to say, that's fine. See if we can't get a few more Sphinxes down to be a few more chump blockers next turn. And we'll see if they end up casting anything. If not, we'll go for Counterspell, and then next turn we'll kind of start to roll out some of these, these chump blockers. Okay, opponent's going to kick the turn over. Then we draw into another island. Let's go and get island down. Let's go and go for Glyph Keeper. Yeah, I like that. Let's go and go for... Actually, do we want to swing in first? Yeah, let's go and push in for 4. Or actually, we may want to leave it, but no, we don't want to leave Unesh as a blocker. Let's go and swing in for 4. Get that commander damage going. We may end up having to go for like a Voltron Unesh win with that Wormcoil engine out on the battlefield. Knocked him down to 38. Let's go and go for Glyph Keeper. And get that Factor Fiction going. And since we have a ton of islands in the hand, we're just going to go and choose Force of Will on this one to go into our hand. Now we do have Elder Deep Fiend that we can flash in for 2 blue mana, getting rid of the Glyph Keeper. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and we'll flash in Elder Deep Fiend in our opponent's turn. That still leaves us online for Force of Will, and then hopefully we'll get into another Sphinx or something like that next turn, and then kind of start going for that. Okay, so let's go and flash in Elder Deep Fiend. Let's go ahead and sacrifice Glyph Keeper. Thank you very much, buddy. Double blue. And let's go and tap down. That's going to be Wormcoil Engine, Omnath, Locus of Mana. And the good thing about us being able to tap down a few of these forests is that, well, actually, excuse me, they can still add that mana in response to that. So we'll probably see that get added. And then we'll get down Elder Deep Fiend, and that'll be an additional chump blocker for us for next turn. Opponent's going to go for Skystraven Council Flagship. Let's go and go Force of Will on this one. Yeah, let's go and exile at least Spell Swindle out of the hand. So we're going to choose that one and then exile Spell Swindle. And then bank the rest of that mana into their Omnath pool. Okay, draw into Rogue's Passage, which doesn't really help us out too much. So let's go ahead and do this. We can Embalm it, create a token that's a combi of it. And I guess technically that would be 7 mana, but that's not really going to help us out too much. So let's go and get down Island. Let's go and go for Fact or Fiction. See if we can't get another Sphinx going out of this one. Okay, so if we end up going for pile 2, that will definitely give us a Sphinx for next turn. Reduce cost, that's going to be 3. That'll be 5 total mana. Yeah, we need to make sure we have more creatures to keep getting down on the battlefield. So let's go and choose pile 2 to put into our hand. And then, do we want to get down Lightning Greaves? No, I like leaving out Counterspell. And then let's go ahead and, do we want to push in with Unesh? It's going to leave up Elder Deep Fiend to block on Omnath, and they'll swing in for 6 with Wormcoil Engine. Yeah, that's fine. Let's go and swing in with Unesh. It's going to knock them down to 34 and then 8 total commander damage. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. So we will be able to go for Sphinx Ambassador next turn. It would have been really nice to get Shrine down. Once you get down Shrine, you start getting a lot of these Sphinxes. Most of these Sphinxes have double blue in their mana cost. And once you get 2 or 3 or 4 of these Sphinxes going, you end up with a really, really nice board state. It ends up tapping for a ton of mana, especially in a mono blue deck like this. Okay, we're going to throw Elder Deep Fiend in front of Omnath simply because they can add that mana to their mana pool. Ooh, opponent's going to go for Emrakul. Okay. We can go for Protection from Instants, but we can still go ahead and go for Counterspell on that. Yeah, we're fine with it. Let's go and go for Counterspell on Emrakul. It's going to keep her off the battlefield. And so they'll be able to gain control of us. They can swing in with Unesh, but that's going to give us another turn to untap. And then even if they want to, they can get down Sphinx. I mean, there's not really too much that they can do, because we will be able to at least take an additional turn after this one. So the only thing they can do is that they end up with a Fact or Fiction pile off Sphinx Ambassador, which would not be that good. Maybe they could go Sphinx Ambassador, get out Lightning Greaves, and tap them out, but that still gives at least another opportunity to get some sort of blocker for Wormcoil Engine. So let's see what they do this turn. Okay, so our opponent simply just passed the turn back over to us, and then we draw into Mind Stone. Let's go ahead and get down Island, and then, yeah, let's go ahead and go for Sphinx Ambassador. Yeah, let's go ahead and go for, I think our opponent, opponent goes, not the best Emrakul. That's typically not too good off that one. 1, 2, 3, and then 1 off Thought Vessel, and then 1 off Lonely Sandbar. Okay, and I guess at this point right now, do we want to have the extra mana to go? High Tide would be nice to have. That would really kind of allow us to dump some stuff out. Let's go and choose pile 1. I like having access to High Tide. Let's go and go for Lightning Greaves. Yeah, because I think if that's correct, with Sphinx Ambassador, whenever it deals combat damage to a player, search out library for a card. That player chooses a card name. If you search for a creature card that doesn't have that name, you may put it onto the battlefield under your control. Yeah, let's go and go for that, because that's going to allow us to get another creature down on the battlefield, which would be a pretty good chump blocker for Wormcoil Engine. So let's go and get that on Sphinx Ambassador. And just to be cautious, in case something happens, let's just go ahead and leave up Unesh at this point right now. Okay, we're going to search your library for a card. I want to make sure I'm reading this right. So with the Sphinx Ambassador, whenever it deals combat damage to a player, search that player's library for a card, then that player chooses a name. If you search for a creature card that doesn't have that name, you may put it on the battlefield under your control. Okay. So let's see. At this point right now with that Wormcoil Engine, I want to grab something that they just completely would not think of, and I love, Tireless Tracker and Unesh. Yes, let's go Tireless Tracker. Okay, so we're going to choose Tireless Tracker. Let's see what our opponent names off of this. Our opponent ended up naming Ulamog, so that does give us Tireless Tracker. Let's go and shift Lightning Greaves. Oh, excuse me, let's get to our main phase, our second main phase. Let's get Lightning Greaves back over onto Unesh, and then anything else will go and pass the turn to our opponent. Now, opponent does have Eye of Ugin on the battlefield. That will be them completely tapping out, or at least making the land drop and tapping out to get down Eye of Ugin going. So we'll definitely need to kind of watch out for that. We are sitting at 8 total commander damage on our opponent, so hopefully we can get a little bit more commander damage going before we get that crack the Eldrazi search land over there. Okay, so we got Wurmcoil swinging across. Let's go and chump block with Tireless Tracker. It'd been nice to get those lands going, but we need to have some sort of blocker. That's going to be Oblivion Sower. When you cast this spell, target opponent exiles top 4 cards of the library, any number of land cards. Okay. Probably going to see some islands get hit off of this. See what they grabbed off of that. And that's going to be, it looks like 2 islands and a Sphinx and Swan Song. And the Oblivion Sower does not have, it looks like it would have reach, but it does not have reach. And they recast Omnath off of that last blue floating mana. Okay, let's see what we draw into. Draw into Meatboy Changeling. That is a great way to get this this turn started. Let's go and go for Changeling. Yeah, I like that. Let's go and go for Changeling. This will be 1 blue mana. Oh, Imprison in the Moon. That is a wonderful answer to Eye of Ugin. So we're definitely going to grab Imprison in the Moon at this point right now. Okay, we're going to go and choose pile 1 on this one. Let's go and go for Imprison in the Moon on Eye of Ugin. We definitely want to get that out of here. That's going to be basically just a colorless land now. Let's go and get down Island. And that does put us online for Clever Impersonator. So we need to get another Sphinx down on the battlefield. So right now we need to block at least 3 creatures. We'll go and swing it with Sphinx again. Yeah, I like that. Let's go and swing it with Sphinx Ambassador. And let's go and get this popped out. Do want to grab Worldbreaker. Whenever you cast it, that's going to be an exile effect. You know, let's go for Prime Time. Yeah, I like that. Let's go for Primeval Titan. See if that's going to stick or not. We can get down Prime Time. That'll get us a few more lands onto the battlefield and really kind of start to amplify this out. Oh, did our opponent name Primetime? Dang it. Okay, so our opponent named Primetime. Nice. So we don't get that one. Oh, that's a bummer. Okay, let's go back to our second main phase. Let's go ahead and go for, we'll go for a Clever Impersonator on another Sphinx Ambassador. That was great. Let's go and get down Clever Impersonator. Sometimes that just, we can go for High Tide if we want to. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, let's go and do that. Let's see if we can't get some really good stuff going. So let's go. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go for a Clever Impersonator on Sphinx Ambassador. That'll give us another Fact or Fiction trigger to go for. And let's go and choose pile 2. And then let's go and get down the Avenger. That'll give us another Unesh trigger to go for. And I guess at this point right now, we'll definitely go and choose pile 1 on this one to have access to that Mystical Tutor. There's no more Sphinxes that we can get down. Prognostic Sphinx is going to cost at least 3. So that last floating mana. Let's go and go for Mystical Tutor. Yeah, I like that. Let's go and get this popped out a little bit. And you know what? Let's go ahead and go for... We could go for Cyclonic Rift, bouncing some stuff back. But I like going for Rite of Replication. We're finally at that point to where we can get a ton of card value with Rite of Replication. Anything else for 1 mana? No. Let's go and pass the turn to our opponent. So we've got a pretty good board state developed. If Wurmcoil Engine wants to swing in, we can chump block with a few of these creatures out here. We had a copy of Sphinx Ambassador, which is going to allow us to chump block. And then hopefully we'll see what our opponents tap. Oh no. Alright, that's going to be Tooth and Nail Entwined. Okay. Dang it, maybe we should have grabbed that Remand. Our opponent... Okay, let's see what they grab off this Tooth and Nail. Let's see what the 2 revealed cards are. It's going to be Craterhoof and Avenger of Zendikar. Okay, bummer. That's going to give them all trample. Very nice. I'll take that. That was a good game by our opponent. I think either way, since we tapped down on High Tide, even if we did get Remand back to the hand, we wouldn't have had enough mana to cast that out. But I'll definitely take this. That was a lot of fun with that Prime Time on that Sphinx Ambassador. And, you know, it's always fun to get a mono-green stomping like this from our opponent. So we're going to let this come across and a good game to our opponent. That was, always enjoy matches like that. So, all right. So we got the Craterhoof coming across. That's a pretty good chunk of damage. How much... Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 times 16. We're looking at 176 points of plant damage over there, not including them coming across. But that will definitely be more than enough with them having trample and us sitting at 4 life. So unfortunately, sometimes the space value train into outer space flies a little too fast, or sometimes Crater Hoof sneaks up on it and eats the train. But that does happen. A good game to our opponent. That was a really good name off that prime time. We could have got a few extra lands going on the battlefield, but that's how Magic goes sometimes. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.